So we've already looked at a titration curve for a strong acid and a strong base. Now we're going to look at a titration curve for a weak acid and a strong base. The main difference here is that a weak acid involves an equilibrium. And one of the main differences that's going to cause is during this titration, we're going to need to keep track of the weak acid and its conjugate base, because both of these species determine the overall pH of the solution. So we didn't have that problem when we were dealing with a strong acid, strong base titration. We only worried about how much strong acid was left over. The same idea is going to be true that as we add in the base, there's going to be a neutralization reaction between the base and the acid. But here, once again, we need to keep track of how much conjugate base is made. So the overall rule is for every 1 mole of hydroxide that's added as a strong base, this converts 1 mole of our weak acid into 1 mole of its conjugate base. And so you can kind of see that here, that it's all the stoichiometry is all 1-to-1. So when we look at the titration curve of a weak acid and a strong base, you can see they're kind of the same points that we had in the strong acid, strong base titration curve. It's just everything is moved up slightly. So the starting point pH is going to be higher than we had with the strong acid, strong base. And that's because the weak acid is in equilibrium, so it doesn't dissociate 100%. So we're not making as much hydronium as we did with the strong acid, strong base titration curve. So the starting point in our weak acid curve is 2.89. Some other points that we're going to want to look at here is the halfway point. So the halfway point is when we have converted half of our weak acid into the conjugate base. This is also when the number of moles of hydroxide we've added as strong base is equal to 1/2 the moles of weak acid that we started with initially. When this is true, that means we've converted half of our weak acid into the conjugate base such that the moles of the weak acid now equal the moles of the conjugate base. When this is true, the pH is going to be equal to the pKa. So we've already seen this, but we'll look at it mathematically, and this is comes from the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So one of the main differences here is that the equivalence point of a weak acid strong base titration curve is greater than 7. So we're not at neutrality at the equivalence point. So even though we've added in equal amounts of acid and base, the endpoint or the equivalence point is going to be slightly basic. And this is because we now have conjugate base floating around in solution. And we didn't have that problem with a strong acid, strong base neutralization or titration. In that case, the pH was 7. So for a weak acid, strong base titration, the equivalence point, the pH is going to be higher than 7. So we will know we're at the equivalence point when the number of moles of base that we've added is equal to the number of moles of weak acid. By this we mean we have converted our weak acid completely into the conjugate base of that weak acid. And what's going to happen is the Kb reaction for this conjugate base is going to determine the pH. So there's going to be some kind of detailed calculations that we're going to be looking at there. But this is why the pH is going to be greater than 7, because we now have some conjugate base floating around in solution, and a conjugate base is basic. So the pH is going to be slightly higher than 7. So beyond the equivalence point, and this is one thing we want to make sure to look at, beyond the equivalence point, we treat a weak acid and strong base titration and a strong acid, strong base titration exactly the same. Once we're beyond the equivalence point, the question becomes how many moles of hydroxide are left over. And then we know we're beyond the equivalence point when the moles of hydroxide are greater than the number of moles of our weak acid that we started with. So remember, that's always one of the first things we check is the relative amount of moles of hydroxide that we've added compared to the moles of weak acid initially. So if the moles of the hydroxide are greater than, that means we're beyond the equivalence point, and then the question becomes how much hydroxide do we have left over? So in this case, even though we have the conjugate base floating around, it's not going to make very much hydroxide. So what we're going to do is do a subtraction. We're going to say that the weak acid is going to react with our moles of hydroxide added. Then there's going to be a certain number of moles hydroxide left unreacted, and then we're going to divide by the V total, and that'll give us concentration of hydroxide, and we can find the pH from that. So when we look at the overall titration curve, one other point is we have this buffer region here, and remember, weak acid and a strong base can lead into a buffer region. So we will have, during this titration, we'll be making conjugate base, so we will have a distinctive amount of weak acid and conjugate base. Then we will be creating a buffer solution, and remember the buffer region is plus or minus 1 pH of the pKa of our acid. So the pKa of the acid we're going to be using, so we'll be using acetic acid. The pKa is 4.74, so our buffer region is from 3.74 to 5.74. And this is the idea that with a weak acid, the pH of this buffer region changes with the pKa of the acid. So we can change the pKa of the acid, and then we get different buffer regions and different pHs.